So close of play on the second day of this first Ross Day Test match at Headingley. England in a strong position, but Pakistan fighting back towards the close of play with the left-arm spinner Ali Usman picking up 3 late wickets. He's finished with 5 in all, but England have a substantial lead, close on 200 with 2 wickets left. Smith and Archer at the crease. Play starting at 2:45 to 3. Half centuries from Cox, Root, Brook making 91 and Lawrence 51, putting England in a strong position in this Test match. Michael Vaughan alongside me. Well, something for Pakistan there towards the end, but the overall situation of the game, after only 2 days, England certainly in the box seat.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be staggered if it's not finishing tomorrow. With what I've seen on the pitch today, there's still movement. We've just seen one from Mohammed Abbas, 81 overs bowled, and the ball's still nipping around. So I think Pakistan have got a huge job to do on day 3 to take it into day 4. Ali Usman was excellent. I don't know the history books in terms of spin bowling at Headingley on day 2, but I don't recollect a spinner getting a fifer on day 2 of a Test match here in Leeds in my time watching and covering the game. So he bowled really well. England had a great chance to go and get a really big score. And I get the feeling that the players they got themselves in, and I wouldn't say it was boredom, but they knew they could just kind of knock it around, and 1 or 2 shots got them out. The likes of Dan Lawrence, he'll be disappointed not to go on and get a bigger score. He played well for his 51. I thought Jordan Cox, he just looks a player. He just looks like he's got all the time. He played 2 or 3 shots today that reminded me of A.B. de Villiers, some of those punches through extra cover, and they're decent balls that he's hitting. And it was off Mohammed Abbas, who I would put as their best bowler, with obviously Usman. 1 or 2 clips through mid-wicket. Just a few little punches at square of the wicket off the offside. He's a proper player. I think England know that they've got a good player in Jordan Cox. Look, this Pakistan attack is nothing but okay. It's the kind of attack that when you look down and watch as a player on the balcony, you know that you should be getting a number against them. They've had a bit from Abbas. They've had a lot in the last session from Usman. Karam and Muhammad Ali just look nice to face. And England will come up against bigger challenges. This batting lineup will come up against better bowling attacks. The one area that I would talk about, and we talked about it mid-afternoon, is about this England side training the brain to bat for 110, 120 overs in the first innings of the Test match. They've still only batted over 80 overs and they're 8 wickets down. So they're not going to bat 110, 120 overs. Yes, they're miles ahead of the game. They're going to win this Test match. But if they want to be a really quality side against the better bowling attacks, they've got to train their brains to bat for that little bit longer in the first innings.
What were your thoughts on Harry Brook today and his dismissal?
Great. His dismissal, he just missed just length. You could see he just started to fly. He wanted those 3 figures tonight. He played with great control. He's played innings today where he's got 91, and it's very rare that you kind of think back, and I don't remember many of his shots. He just batted and he just played, and he's played some glorious shots, but nothing stands out. He's not played one of those ramp shots. He's not danced down and whacked one over extra cover for 6. He just batted, and look, we all know how talented he is, and we know how good he is. He's in a different kind of team now, because they will have different leadership in terms of what they expect. It won't be the last time that we see Harry Brook just bat with ease, without breaking sweat, and get a good score to his name.
Yeah, out for 91. He did look as though he was on for 100 tonight, but one of 5 wickets for Ali Usman. Alistair Cook is here. Mark Wood is here as well. What did you make of that sort of late order collapse, if you like, from England, Alistair?
Well, a good bit of bowling, I suppose, from Usman. Certainly to Ollie Robinson and Gus Atkinson. I was surprised, and I think he did Harry Brook really with the length and the pace, and he varied his pace. He bowled some good balls today. He'll be probably a little bit frustrated. Actually, he's still, as a Pakistan, bit of a trait in this innings. That even he was bowling. He went at 4 and over, and that's kind of like that bad ball and over. He bowled, because England didn't really have to attack him. But he's picked up the 5 wickets. I think they'll be happy with their day's work. To be honest with you, I think the collapse. Is it a collapse, or they just lost a couple of wickets? I wouldn't call it a collapse.
Yeah. It wasn't a dramatic collapse, was it? And Usman got through against the lower order. Jonathan Agnew here as well. The game's moving on, Jonathan.
Well, it is. I mean, it could be done tomorrow. It depends a bit about the weather and what happens and so on. But England, I think they've had a really good day. And Harry Brook, If that has turned a corner for Harry Brook, who did not play one reckless shot, didn't play one swipe across the line, he just went out there and batted. And if he carries on batting like that, he'll have more challenging attacks to bat against. But in that mindset, he's going to score 1 million runs. As Michael said, he can't remember many of his shots. He played almost a runner ball, risk-free. He was dropped on one. Okay, a loose little fiddle out there when he first came in, and that should have been taken. But these things happen, and you just move on, don't you? But I thought that the way in which he went about his innings today was absolutely what people have been crying out for. I thought he played absolutely brilliantly.
Mark, sitting in that England dressing room, when you watch Harry Brook bat, do you sometimes think, actually, Harry, you could have scored a few more? Or do you kind of accept what he's got?
No, because some of the shots he plays where he hits for 4 and 6, I think, well, I couldn't do that either. So it's rough with the smooth, isn't it? Sometimes when he dances down and hits Stark over the top for 6, and then they put the field back and he knocks it for 1, I think, oh my word, this guy, you're doing this against the best attacks. I know what you're saying in terms of being less risky. Today he played really well. I think just looked risk-free, played with ease, take the score along without you really noticing. I mean, some of the things that I would be used to seeing with him, he would dance down and hit people over extra cover, over mid-off and mid-on for 6. But the real highlight I remember was back-cutting the spin. When the ball was almost past him, he was sort of late-cutting it past sort of a wide point or short third off the spin. And that was probably the highlight for me, is that he played with lovely touch and finesse. And he didn't have to use that bludgeon way that we know. And then they went to the bouncer field, and a lot of people questioning him there and think that's a method to get him out. And he looked composed. He took it on, hit it in the gap. Yeah, it was a very good day for an England fan and for that dressing room to have that belief in Brookie's batting. But I think they've got that anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of when you watch Harry Brook, you feel he's so talented, don't you? He averages mid-50s. You almost feel he could average 70.
Well, the only
if he played at kind of 85%. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the debate, and I don't know necessarily where we are with it. What do you feel about it, Alistair?
Well, I feel and I said this yesterday with Aggers, I think when he first came to the side, I'm not sure he was totally sure how he wanted to play in red ball cricket, and McCullum and Stokes gave him that freedom to go and play really attackingly, because I think when I saw him playing for Yorkshire beginning of his career, he opened and also slid down the middle order a bit, where he was uncertain the tempo he went. So he went all in, and he produced some fantastic results. Lots of runs, certainly against Pakistan. His record against Pakistan is unbelievable. It's almost Bradman-esque. And he's given clarity to do that. And now I think as you do learn and you evolve, he is doing that in front of our eyes. The one thing that happens when you are number one batter in the world and you averaging close to 60 like it was 55, that just comes with expectation and pressure. That's another little element which no one really thinks about when you start playing cricket, but happens. So he's now been doing numbers which have almost been unheard of for an English batsman in these conditions. Suddenly, the problem with that is, if it is a problem, is you start to get expectation. The media expecting him to do it all the time, and he has to learn with that. So I think today we saw a little evolution of his batting where he didn't have to do anything fancy. Yes, his bowling attack is not world class, but he played in a real nice tempo, and we might see a little illusion. Will we see some bad shots from Harry Brook at some stage in the next 2 years? We will, because that's how he plays. Some of the shots he does play, I was going to ask Woody whether he run down and dance and hit you over at extra cover in the net ever, but that is some of the charm of watching him bat, that uncertainty of how he's going to bat.
It's still going all right though. He still averages 55 playing that way. Do you know what I mean? So I think it'd be frustrating maybe him getting out like that, but he's banking them runs in the games from all these other shots, when maybe if he just blocked it or he played normal, he wouldn't get any runs for them.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at both sides of the argument. Yes, I do agree, but also he is getting those runs by playing that way. Average 55, still not bad.
No, it's fantastic.
Amazing.
I think it's an interesting debate. It's fantastic. His numbers are fantastic, but you wonder whether there could be an
Probably.
more of an improvement.
Probably,
because he is that good potentially.
Probably, but you always want more. You always want better, don't you? I mean, I would like my numbers to be less. I'd like the ball 97 miles per hour every time I let go of the ball. You always want more. I think what I'm trying to say is the balance argument is, yes, there'll be times where you might get frustrated at the way that he's got out, but you also got to laud him when he plays some of the shots that he does where he puts bowlers off their length or he makes them miss their execution because he's danced down and hit them. So, yes, I'm not saying that the way that he plays all the time is like the way that he should play that ball or the way that he should have got out was wrong, but I think you've got to balance it both.
I certainly wasn't slagging him off at all.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like,
I'm just talking about the evolution of Harry Brook.
Yeah.
We're seeing it. We've seen a little bit of it now, I think, after
After Australia. See, I mean, the frustration was Australia. He just did it too many times and failed too many times by playing reckless shots, and bringing down his downfall when the whole team was struggling. He would get out in a silly way, and so that's why I think there is this sort of frustration and the focus on Harry Brook. There was the off-field stuff as well, and this is a sign. And he captained the white ball team extremely well, by the way, this summer. If there is a maturity about him as a leader, as a responsible senior member of the team, and as a Test match batsman, well, let's hope this is the start of a chapter that's going to produce a bag full of runs. And when Joe Root has finished this presumably quite a short time as captain, maybe until the end of next year, Brook is actually then in a good position to take over, because he was overlooked this time. Let's not forget, he was vice-captain, and he was overlooked because the management felt that he wasn't ready for the job or whatever. Well, I think he's gone out and batted today, showing the maturity that a lot of people have been looking for, and that could well spread into the other aspects of his life as well.
What about the other two players who had on display in this game? They're kind of battling for a place in the side. Jordan Cox and Dan Lawrence, two players that you know well, Alistair.
Yeah, I think they both played nice, and they'll both be thinking exactly the same when they get back to their hotel rooms. I've been sitting in the dressing room thinking, I've just let an opportunity go to get 100, so you don't start questioning their place. They kind of take that out of the selectors thing. If they scored a couple of hundreds in this series, and they still might do that, you start taking selection out of the selectors' hands. 50s, 60s, 70s don't do that. We saw a glimpse, I thought, from Jordan Cox. I like his first 50, played some lovely shots, seeing some talent. We've seen some 50s from Dan Lawrence before. I thought his new technique looks better, certainly to the straighter ball. But doing that will open up a challenge of nicking. Because that's always a balance when you're open or slightly closed. So I think they'll both be happy they've got a score in their comebacks, but they'll both be thinking, against this attack today, there was 100 there for the taking.